Hey YouTube, it's JP Dillon. So here we are at the end of the saga. This is part 9 and the final part of the 1959 Philco Predicta Princess service and repair. You can see here it's all back in the cabinet, and this thing really has a nice patina to it. It's a survivor cosmetically. I did polish up the lens a little bit with some Novus number 2 and cleaned that up some. But otherwise, everything about this is all good to go. If we walk around, you can see that it still has its original back. So what we're going to do today is we have to remove the CRT cover so that we can make the yoke leveling adjustments and the centering adjustments and stuff. We'll put it on my little test pattern generator, and we'll get a crosshatch on it, make sure the geometry and everything with it is good. And then it will sit where my Sony's sitting now, and we're just going to burn it in, which means running it for about 8 hours a day for a good week or more, just to make sure that nothing changes and everything's cool, and then it can go back home to its owner. So let's get to that. Let's hook it up to something, and let's see what adjustments need to be made. And when we remove the CRT cover, this is what we're looking at inside. And what you see up here, this thing is your little ground strap. These are your centering magnets. They are interactive with each other. I forget if this is a correction magnet. I think it is, or if it's a way to level the yoke. There's a nut behind here you can see, and when we loosen that, that will allow us to turn the yoke, which will level the picture. So we need to make those adjustments, and then of course there's the common width, linearity, and height, and the unmarked one is the horizontal oscillator setup, which we've already done with the new phase detector diodes in place. So let's hook a signal up. Now, this is about the best shot I can get from across the room. We'll see if we can move it a little bit closer and then readjust the camera, because I have limited points of movement for this camera mount. I'm just trying to get it so that y'all can see it. So let's go ahead and turn the set on. Little channel indicator starts to glow, that's good. Alright, so definitely have some yoke leveling issues. Let's turn to channel 4. And there's some non-color color bars. Alright. There's a crosshatch pattern. Now you can see, as it is, other than it being unlevel, I did pretty good at eyeballing it. So first let's turn the contrast down a little bit so we don't end up hurting the CRT. We'll turn the brightness down some too. This is a fresh CRT. It's pretty well centered in the picture. Horizontal linearity looks pretty good. So I think what we're going to do is loosen the nut on the yoke and go from there. Let me turn it a little bit. Maybe you can see it better straight ahead. But you can see that it's definitely slanted. So we're going to loosen that yoke nut and turn the yoke and see if we can straighten that out. Okay, so we've got things kind of situated. I adjusted the vertical linearity some, recentered the yoke. I think it needs to be tilted just a little tiny bit more, to be honest with you. But it's looking good. The horizontal oscillator is still a little bit touchy, but I think it locks in at least, so that makes me happy. This is a really finicky set, and I think that was true when these were new. And what I also noticed is as it warms up, the vertical height at the bottom has shrunk a tiny little bit, but that's just kind of common with tube warm-up, so that's why you want to make sure that the set's completely warmed up before you make any critical and permanent adjustments. And yeah, so far it's looking pretty good. I'm just letting it run really. I'm not thrilled with the antenna connections on the back here. They're pretty touchy. Like I can just tap on them and it freaks out. So that's where we're at so far. Now I think it's really time to hook a real video signal up to it and see how it handles actual TV. So it's been on about a half an hour now. And before I hooked up regular TV signal, I just wanted to make sure the geometry and everything was still going to be good on it. And it is. It's very stable, which is exactly what I want. We got a nice sharp crosshatch there. Resolution on that's pretty fine. Horizontal and vertical linearity looks good. We've got this tiniest little bit of stretch up here, but if I try to correct this, then it throws the geometry off too far on the bottom, so that's pretty much as good as it gets there. And I think now it's time to put a signal in it. This thing's looking good though. Alright, so here she is, hooked up to regular broadcast TV. Nice bright CRT with just some razor sharp focus. This camera really doesn't do it any justice. It's just amazingly razor sharp focus. So contrast is excellent, brightness is excellent. I think we've got a slight trapezoid, but that's just kind of how it is. It's not perfect, but it sure does look nice, and you're going to get the inner carrier buzz on these sets. That's just a function of overloading them with text and complex blanking information. They couldn't bludgeon you more to death with these commercials. Oh, how appropriate. There's McHale's Navy for the end of it. Pretty neat. Formatting's pretty good. Oh, it is the beginning. You really can't see the picture because of the blanking. There we go, that's a little better. Yeah, this was a big deal a couple months ago. They were trying to ban street cruising in one of the highest concentration of car cultures in San Diego. Big mistake.
United Lowrider Coalition, we started 2 years, 3 months, and 2 days ago to work on this to get it repealed. And now I'm super excited that it's now coming to pass.
This is going to be monumental. We've been fighting so hard for this. Not only that, we're fighting from here that got approved elsewhere. So once we are approved here, this is not only for us, it's for everybody.
Yeah, I gotta remember to switch channels every once in a while because they do identify content based on images. So McHale's Navy would have been a flag for sure, because I got popped for that girl. And another show too, I forget which. I'm amazed at how good the picture is on this thing. I've never seen one with a 0-hour CRT. I don't even think there is an hour on this yet. We don't have one of those cool hour meters like Shango does.
such a pickle, a very expensive one to taxpayers to try to...
See if we can just do a quick band scan here on our OTA box.
You'll meet real women like you and hear about the astonishing results.
You'll meet real women. Well, what about fake ones? Got to include the fake ones.
Diagnosed with any of the following types of cancer, you may...
Claro, tanta relación entre Punta Cana y Acapulco.
There you go, retro TV, although they've got the formatting wrong. I hate it when they do that.
Excuse me, did I give you a touch?
No, but
Mr. Grant. Let's see, we're not going to get that.
Several days later, the fisherman found her body in...
It appeared as though...
Sore joints and arthritis. Our 7-color crop
one will be able to replace Yellowstone's original star. All right, so we reached out to Paramount as well as...
Alright, let's see what else we can grab here. My only gripe is that the upper left-hand corner of the screen is, of course, cut off.
Yes, sir. Morale-wise, public relations-wise, it could put us...
And we need to reformat this for full screen. But she works good. So I'm pretty happy with this thing. We're going to burn it in another week or two, and then it'll go back home to its owner. But there it is. 1959 Philco Predicta with a restored chassis and a brand new CRT. That's a sight that I have rarely seen. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video series. We're going to get into something even more interesting soon. A top-of-the-line Sansui quad. And we're going to troubleshoot and try to repair that. So until next time, thanks for watching the videos. More stuff to come.